Okay. Facebook friends, thank you for joining us this evening. Give me just a moment and we will get started in just 2 minutes. Okay. Hey, thank you all very much for joining me this evening. I appreciate you carving time out of your busy schedules, especially on what's finally a beautiful day here in southeastern Michigan. Um, so we kind of cherish these days. But any questions right out of the gate before I dive into things? One question I have for you, actually, two questions. I always like to find out what areas are people looking to move to. A lot of the programs that I talk about change dramatically from area to area. And I actually, gosh, stumbled across one program this week that I'll probably touch on a little bit that was offering $100,000, as crazy as it sounds. Not in the Detroit area, it was actually on the west side of the state. Maybe not the west side, but outside of Battle Creek. So, in a town called Marshall, where first time I'd ever seen this program offering $100,000. So, uh, uh, got it. Person saying not super picky, just clean and safe. That's hey, the older I get, that's all I need. So, so I appreciate that. So, any addresses? Does anyone have any specific addresses? To this evening, I'm going to go over a new application that I have offering a link to for people where we can actually enter the address and it will give you all of the different programs that are available. So we just have to enter the address, a little criteria. So I'd like to walk you through that this evening. So Newaygo County, great. Hey, do you have an address, James, that you can share in Newaygo County? And I'll pull up some programs and we'll see what's up in that area. So, but with that being said, I'm going to start jumping into things. So, but if you two, Stacy and James, if you could come up with an address for a house, love to type it in and give you a feel for what programs are available. Actually, sometimes we might even be able to search by county, and I'll go over that in just a moment, James. So we're not going to have a huge audience this evening, so it'll allow me to keep an eye on the chat box. I'll try to address your questions as they come in, since we're going to have more of a limited audience. And unfortunately, Facebook friends, it's hard for me to monitor two chat rooms at once. I'll do the best I can. If you have anything, type it in the chat box. I'll try to keep up on that as well. So my promises for you this evening, there is no sales pitch here. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here 100% for educational content and hope that by giving you access to all of these tools and educational content, when it comes time to buying a house, you'll reach out to my team and we can help you connect the dots to get into these programs, tap into all the money that's out there, and more importantly, get you into a good quality house. So several things we're going to cover. Number one, we're going to go over how to access. Actually, I have 2,300 programs. It's actually up to 2,500 programs across the country right now. Those are down payment assistance programs, grants, and tax credits, which don't really focus a lot on those, but they are also in that database. And I'm going to give you access to that. We'll run a couple of samples in just a moment. We're also going to go over the qualifications that a lot of these programs standpoint, things like that, how to structure these transactions. So how do I get people in with just a few $1,000s out of pocket? So I'm going to touch on the numbers. So, the older I get, boom, the numbers really are what it drills down to. So, and how to find houses that will actually qualify for these programs. I'm here in southeastern Michigan, and it's actually it's still a very competitive market here, where the rest of the country probably not so much. But in my opinion, that's direct relationship to the rental market just being out of control right now. So if you're a renter, I feel for you. What you get for your money is very disheartening, and the quality of landlords out there is less than satisfactory, that's for sure. And we're going to go over how to tap into some free quality experience representation, because that's really what's needed to get these programs across the finish line. If you don't hitch your wagon to experience, it's a very bumpy road trying to access this money. So I do it routinely. My team is very familiar with it, and we close these transactions, a couple of them a week. So it's certainly in our wheelhouse. And by following the steps that I give people, regardless of credit, we can get you there. So there are programs that surface every now and then that have no credit restrictions. So if we piggyback them with different programs that have that are underwritten with no credit guidelines, it makes it very easy. So, for example, there was a program. Oh gosh, it was a City of Detroit program that closed down a couple of months ago. I was getting people. I think I had 3 people that had credit scores about 520 area that were able to buy a house on that particular program. Didn't have any credit restrictions. It's just a function of how you structure it and what lender you go with. There are actually programs. So here, perfect example, FHA. There technically is no credit score requirement for FHA. It's just that a lot of lenders have what they call overlays. A lot of banks won't touch them under 620, some under 600, some under 580. There are some FHA lenders that will go down to 500 as long as you're putting 10% down. And guess what? That last grant that the City of Detroit had, $25,000, well, that was 10% down. So if you were able to connect with the right lender and get the right representation, I was able to have several people be successful on that were in really uncomfortable rental situations. So very, very happy for them. Let me jump into one of the examples here. So here is Emily. Emily is actually one of my favorite stories. So Emily, basically fixed income. We were able to get her a 3% gift program, a $5,500 tax, or actually a $5,000 closing cost credit, and then another $500 to pay for her appraisal. And then on top of that, she got the City of Detroit $25,000 grant. All total, $33,000 to purchase this home. This one was actually on Freeland. It was a great, solid house. Actually, if you've been around southeastern Michigan, it's hard to find a basement that's never had water in it. This one didn't. A beautiful finished basement in this house. So extremely happy for her. She's one of my favorites and great success stories. So actually, Emily every now and then pops into my webinars, but don't see her name this evening. If she did, thank you for the referral, Emily, because I know she watches these later. So she just sent me a referral yesterday. Okay, so who is this webinar designed for? Basically, I designed it for renters. My job is to help connect renters with down payment assistance programs and grants so they can purchase with very little money out of pocket, regardless of where your credit is. So if you're a renter that's tired of rental increases, landlords not making repairs, actually, some respects, even slumlords, or whether you're just, uncomfortable with the uncertainty whether your landlord's going to renew your lease, or this is the time of year where landlords start selling houses out from underneath renters. That's for whatever reason happens every spring. Landlords just start selling houses right from underneath tenants. It's very frustrating. Or I get some people that just say, hey, I'm tired of paying off my landlord's mortgage. So I totally get that. I actually had someone tell me a couple of days ago this one, and it really hit home. She just wanted to take control of her housing and build a little bit of wealth. But more importantly, she wanted to lift that next generation and show her kids that there's more. So she was actually paying very cheap rent. And I was like, hey, your payment's going to go up if you want to get into a good quality house. And she was actually 100% on board with it, just for the fact that she wanted something better for her kids. And that, very few things like that strike a chord with me as much as that. So very happy to help her out. So here's another success story. Daniel was able to tap into a $25,000 grant. He actually purchased this from the estate of his mother. His mother had passed away, and he had two sisters, and he was buying it from his sisters. So we were able to use a $25,000 grant, so he didn't need any money out of pocket. So we negotiated a purchase price of $150,000. He didn't need any money at closing. We basically used $20,000 for the down payment, $5,000 for the closing cost. It was very easy for him. So took a little while to get his done. We had to structure things. He wasn't really prepared to pull the trigger on owning a house until he crossed my path. And then, it's one of those things where it took a couple of months to get him done, but it was well worth the effort. So my goal this evening, most importantly, is to give you the confidence and hope that you can get this done. Okay. I help people routinely, regardless of their situation. So I find that knowledge is key. And the more knowledge I give you, the more confidence people get. I get people that come on my webinars, 2, 3, 4 times before they pick up the phone. So I always tell people, please don't hesitate. Schedule a strategy call with me, or a vision call, I'd like to call them as well, too, regardless of your situation. Okay. I've been there. I know what it's like to rebuild credit. Okay. I know what it's like to doubt whether we can get these things across the finish line, whether it takes, 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years. I've been doing these webinars for 3 years now. I got back into real estate about 10 years ago with a passion for educating people on these. And about 3 years ago, when I started doing the webinars, that was just like, made it so much easier for me than having the same conversation with people 20 times a day. Now I can hop on a webinar, and, tonight we've got, I think, probably 20, 30 people on this webinar. Sometimes when I'm running ads, we'll get 100 plus people on these webinars. I just enjoy helping the masses, passing this educational content along. Now, my other goal this evening is to dispel some of the common beliefs that are out there. Number one, a lot of people think that you need a lot of money to buy a house, okay? And I know this flies in the face of conventional wisdom with regards to buying a house, but I'm telling you, you don't need money. I take that as my job, okay? If you have 1%, okay, typically, say you're buying a $150,000 house, 1% is $1,500. If you have $1,500, we can get you into a house. Okay. I just need to know up front, and we can pencil it. I routinely talk to people where they're like, John, I'm renting. I want to get out of this. I just don't have any money. You know what? We structure it along the way. Okay. How much do we have today? Can you do 500 today? Great. In another 3 weeks, I'll need another 500, and then bring another 500 to closing. If we have to pencil it that way, we do it. Okay. So I just need to know what your budget is. I realize there's never any extra money in my house. I assume most people roll that way. So anyways, so you don't need money. Let's just get that out of the conversation. Do you need good credit? No. Can we do it with below average credit? Absolutely. We're going to go into this in a little bit more detail, but I always tell people, if your credit scores are 580 or higher, done. We can get something done right away. If they're 580 to 550, we can usually get something done in 30 to 60 days. We just need to take a look at your credit, find out where that low-hanging fruit is, and we can usually manipulate those scores pretty quickly. And if your scores are below that, I do a credit repair webinar on Saturdays. Actually, not this Saturday, but a week from Saturday. That credit repair webinar is how to get your score up 60 points in 60 days. Okay. I teach you all about how the credit industry relates to the mortgage world, and we can take a deep dive into your credit. I do it even on those calls. Schedule a call with me. Just get a feel for what's on your credit, what kind of baggage there is, and I'll talk you through it. There's a lot of things that people do that common sense tells you they're the right thing to do with credit repair, and it isn't. Okay. One tip: if you have a collection over 2 years old, do not pay it. Paying an old collection will tank your credit scores temporarily. Okay. So things like that are what I teach people on my credit repair or credit boosting webinar. Okay. The other one is fixed income. If you're on a fixed income, we can get you in. So, Emily, that last person that I showed you that got $33,000, she's on Social Security, and we were able to get her into that house on Freeland. So sometimes we really need to sharpen the pencil. I get that, but it's still a much better alternative than to what's going on in the rental market right now. So I routinely show people how to achieve the home buying process, and just by setting reasonable goals. So not rocket science, but like anything in life, if you don't know, you don't know. So here's another person that we were able to help out. Tashiana, she tapped into the Detroit Down Payment Assistance Program for $25,000. She purchased this house on Rosemont, $123,000. This was a solid house right around the corner from her parents. She has 2 kids, so her support system was there. She's a perfect person she wasn't expecting to buy a house. So when we had her contract signed, I only collected $500 of a deposit up front. And it wasn't even up front. It was in a week or two after we got the agreement through. And then she didn't need the rest of the money till closing, and that was $1,000. So for $1,541, she was able to buy this house. And the outside of this house the inside was as nice as the outside. Kitchen was all redone. This one actually had a nice 2-car garage in the back too. So we were able to take about $20,000 of the $25,000 for the down payment, and the closing costs were about $5,000. I think her payments on this one actually came in at in the 900s. So right now I'm finding it's hard to even find a 1-bedroom apartment right now for under $1,000. It's getting kind of crazy out there. All right. The only thing I ask for people this evening, if you could do me one favor, and I'm going to put it in the chat box right now, just because I always tend to forget. What I ask for is help educating other people. So I'm going to put in a couple of links here. Number one, this is a link to my YouTube channel. If you could do me a favor, copy that, go out to just Own the Roof. If you go out to YouTube and type Own the Roof, you'll see all the videos. Actually, we're streaming it on YouTube right now, so you always can go back and see my webinars there, but I always like to put educational content up there. So my goal is to get the amount of subscribers up over 1,000. Right now we're like 400 and something. The higher, and then once we trigger 1,000, then YouTube's a lot nicer about sharing information with other people. And then here is a link to my Facebook page. If you could follow me there too, I would certainly appreciate it. All right. Next one. Oh, here. Why do I do this? People often ask, what's in it for me? So I'm actually a realtor by trade. Like I said, I want to earn your business and hopefully have my team get you pre-approved for these grants, and hopefully we can help you buy a house. So my reason for getting back into this was I actually went through some pretty hard times. Gosh, it had to be about 15 years ago. So I was that guy that just chased numbers. Okay. I was in real estate back. I got my license in '87. So I sold houses. From there, I went into the mortgage world. Actually started out with Rock Financial. That's how old it is now. It's Rocket. Had a nice career there. I was one of their top salespeople for several years. And then after a while, I thought, hey, you know what? I can do this on my own. Okay. always chasing numbers, thinking being the top guy was the success story, and opened the mortgage company. It did well. From there, someone talked to us about opening a title company, and that was doing well. And everything I thought was great until one day somebody came to me and said, "Hey, John, where is this? Why is this check at the title company going through a different bank?" And many, many dollars later, we found out our bookkeeper was embezzling. And it was a long, hard debt way down. It was well over seven figures. It was a very, very humbling experience. Just whatever, you just can't trust everybody. But, I still refuse to lose hope in human nature. It was a bad decision. The good thing was hiring the bookkeeper, but good thing was everybody was made whole. Okay. And so we moved on. We learn and we move on, but very, very troubling times for myself financially. But after that, I had the mortgage company. Thought, this is good. We're still at the mortgage company. Everything will be fine. And then a year later, the meltdown happens. And I had a warehouse line of credit that we ran our mortgage company on through Chase. And Chase just closed all of that stuff. So overnight, down to zero. Found myself in bankruptcy court, lost my house, lost everything. I was done with real estate, couldn't take it anymore. I packed up, said, you know what, I'm going to go to the automotive finance world. I know numbers well, it's easy for me. Didn't really care for the finance world at all. I was the guy sitting in the finance office trying to sell you that stuff. Many times, there were some cars that actually need it, but a lot of times that's stuff that we really don't need, okay? But I stuck it out there for 2 to 3 years because I knew I needed to build my credit back up in order to buy a house again. So thinking that I could get it done in 2 years, you can't. It takes, when you have a foreclosure, it takes 3 years. But typically, if you don't have a foreclosure, I can get someone's credit from basically as low as you could possibly go to in the 700s in 2 years. I share that story with you because I've been there. And 10 years ago, I can tell you it was a lot harder to build credit than it is right now. There are a lot of tools out there where I can get someone back up and get their scores on track. So when I tell you that I do a credit boosting webinar, I speak from experience. I did it myself. Actually, back then, I had to write the letters to the creditors. I had to do all of that stuff. The credit repair world was a little bit different than it is right now. Not saying it's a lot easier with technology, but it certainly can happen a lot more swiftly. So basically, when I was able to buy a house finally, I qualified for a down payment assistance program from the state of Michigan, $7,500. My score was there. My income was low enough because I was in the automotive world. And right before closing, the loan officer goes, you didn't need it. So you still had a little bit of money in your wife's retirement account. Because I was done. Financially, it was ruined. And very few things aggravated me as much as that. Even today, it still aggravates me because every now and then I'll get a loan officer that calls me and says, well, John, this buyer doesn't really need the down payment assistance money. He has a retirement account at Ford. And I'm like, no, I told him about that. I want him to have that. He's going to need that retirement account. Just like today. I just turned 60 in December. And you know what? That $10,000 I had to pull out of my retirement account to buy my last home for my wife. Okay. I'm going to wish I would have had that in a few years. Okay. So anyways, I want to give you the educational content so you can make those decisions, not let somebody else make it for you like I was forced to do. And yes, to answer any questions out there, I did take the money out of the retirement account. My wife wanted the house that badly. So, but still, bitter feelings today. So anyways, that's why I do it. I won't go on this anymore. So with that being said, I'm going to jump into our program. Okay, so this is a new link for me that I'm going to share with you. Okay. The website that we can go to. Sorry, my mouse really isn't cooperating here right now. Okay. This is a website you can go to where you can see all of the down payment assistance programs that are out there. So there was a gentleman earlier, Newaygo County. I'm going to go out here. So first, let me touch on just one thing. Down payment assistance programs versus grants, okay? Down payment assistance programs are typically loans. They're going to put a second mortgage on the house, and then many times, about 70, 80% of the time, they're forgivable. So as long as you own the home either 3, 4, 5 years, they give you the money. So for example, the City of Detroit grant, if you own the house for 3 years, you get to keep the whole $25,000. There's a state of Michigan down payment assistance where you never have to pay it back. You never make a payment on it, no interest. But when you sell the house, they want the money back. And then there are other programs where you actually have to make payments on the money that you're getting for the second mortgage. So down payment assistance typically have some type of repayment component with it, and sometimes many levels of forgiveness. Now, grants, on the other hand, that's free money. So for me, we always want to go for grants first. So we're going to take a peek, see what grants are out there, grab that money first. And some of those programs, those success stories I showed you earlier, for example, with Emily, those were all grants. Grants you can typically stack one on top of the other. Okay. She had the down payment assistance from the City of Detroit, but we were able to stack the additional 3% grant, the closing cost grant, the appraisal grant. I even think that there was a inspection grant. I think they actually covered her home inspection too. So anyways, that's what we want to do. We want to try to go for grants first. Now, I'm going to take us to, this is the no down payment app website. Okay, so I'm going to take this one to James in here. We'll see Newaygo County is going to pop up. Let's see here. So just scroll down. Let's see if you're eligible. You can click there. It's going to take you right down. You can put a street address in, or, sorry, my connection is a little choppy here. Let's see if Newaygo County. Right, I think my internet speed is going a little choppy right now. All right, let's try this. Copy. There we go, Newaygo County. So if you click on that, you can see there's 17 programs currently available in Newaygo County. All we have to do is enter a sale price, whether you're buying a single family house or more, how many people are in the household, do you own a home or have you owned a home in the last 3 years, your income, and then click Get Details, and you'll see it all. So once you do that, it'll ask for some of your personal information, and then it will email all of it to you. So let me give you, try another one here. Any other addresses? Let me see if anybody put anything in here. No. All right, I'm going to give you the address. Let's see here, 16801. It's here, Lamphere. This is the house that I grew up in. And 482, 19. I'm having a senior moment here. I think it's 19. Let's see. 23 programs there. So anyways, so let's just run through here and we'll see where it goes. So if we enter a sale price of, let's just say 120,000, still 23 programs. So as you start entering it, hit enter, put in your information, and you'll get a list of all the programs that you can qualify for. Now, I did have a lady, let's see where that, let me get that address. I'm going to give you a feel for this one. This is one, and let's see, okay, 49068. Marshall, Michigan. Okay. Okay, let's run this one. And by running this one, came up with 17 programs. Let me see if I can get this over here. And I'm going to try and get this list here so you can see this. You know what?